Okay, so good afternoon. So we'll do an yin yoga class today for the hips, hip flexors particularly, and we're gonna get the toes and maybe back, I guess. Yeah. So we're gonna start sitting up tall and get ourselves centered. I think this one too. I can. There you go. Okay, better. All of a sudden, I could not even hear myself. All right. Let's take a deep breath and just try to move the body in any way that it may want right now. Stretching the neck, the shoulders, the rib cage. Oh, and I do have two announcements as you guys stretch. First, on August 4th, we will have a workshop for poetry and yoga nidra, because you know me, I'm a poet sometimes. So we're gonna have a class where we can all explore our inspiration and our relaxation mode, whereas we do a little bit of poetry first and then yoga nidra, which will be that deep yogic sleep where you get to relax. And in poetry, don't worry if you never wrote anything, you always write stuff, right? So we're gonna come up with the words we're gonna use in a poem, and everybody's gonna mix and match those words the way they want, and they're gonna come up with different version of the same poem because we're gonna use the same words, but everybody's gonna pick them and arrange them differently. So it'll be beautiful to see what we come up with, and we're just gonna have some fun. And then on the weekend of the 11th through the 14th in Augusta, Missouri, in August, we will have a very beautiful festival of bliss yoga event that I'm going to be in on a Saturday at 5, but it goes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's in Augusta on the hills, so I'll give you a flyer when you guys leave. If you're in town, it'll be a good place to be that weekend. So now we'll start on the belly. We're going to use our massage balls, our therapeutic balls. When we lay down, we're going to have them right under our hip flexors. So they're right in here in the groin. So we're going to place them right here and we lay down on them. So lay down flat on your belly with the 2 tennis balls on the hip flexors. This is going to give us a nice deep tissue release in that area that is very tense and tight. So after you place them, you're going to decide how much weight you want to put on. So you can be on your elbows here. And move your hips a little bit side to side to feel where you want it. And then stop and lengthen through the legs, point the toes, lift up from the waist, and take a few breaths here. You can also have your head down on your hands if you like to be more relaxed, but that way maybe you put more weight on the balls. So you decide which is good for you today. So take some deep breaths to energize that area and to transmute and transform that stagnant energy in the hip flexors. So we constrict a lot in that area and we hold a lot of energy of negative kind. So we'll help it be released. Deepen the breaths and have little pauses between the breaths to have a chance to relax the tissues and to expand. And then as you exhale, let that be a natural release of tension, of stale old breaths, of energy, of emotions, whatever you need to take out of your body. Do it so intentionally with the breath. And maybe you also want to slide down a little bit and see if you find a different spot. Slide your hips down a bit and maybe wiggle side to side and kind of reposition and see what feels somewhat good. It's not going to feel super good. It's going to feel tense or intense, but we're releasing a lot of tension. This is a very good practice of deep tissue massage. It does get rid of that embedded tension we hold, not only the muscles, it goes to the cartilage, to the tendons, to the bone. Just really deep release. It's called myofascial release or MFR. So we get through that myofascia that wraps around all the body, but it's more dense and more tense in the areas such as the hips, the shoulders, the base of the neck. Just working on the hips today. So reposition, maybe slide down a little bit on your quadriceps muscle. And then bring your toes under. So you only say a little bit, it's not further down much, but see this was hip flexor here, right in the groin, and then you're gonna bring it down a little lower. Okay. And then bring your toes under behind you. So you activate a little differently. It's gonna get you a little bit, huh? Yeah, so do your best and lean just enough weight so you feel like it's working, but it may be a little tough. Just make sure you can still breathe, back off if you need to. So toes under is gonna activate those quads and it's gonna make them really release. So the way myofascial release is basically pushing, like you're pushing something soft against the wall and then there's no more to go. And then he only has to release, bounce back and relax. There's no other way to go. So that's how this works. And it is a little bit intense, but it's very good for us. But use the breaths, just notice how the body responds. And you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel like you're holding your breath or it takes your breath away. Just because along with this, we're releasing any negative emotions stored in that area, any memories, any blockages. Okay, so we will keep the right one where it's at, and then we'll bring the left knee out to the side and move that ball right below the knee on the inside. Just, I would say above the knee, which means towards your thigh, towards your hip. Okay, and bend the knee a little bit and sink your weight on that. This is gonna get that inner thigh released to have a lot of contraction there. And it's also going to activate the spleen meridian and these inner fibers of the femur and quadriceps muscle fibers that have three bellies. The center one is the belly of the muscle, and then you have the lateral and the inside one. So now we're just going to travel a little bit on that. So roll a little bit up and down. And this will move the balls in both areas. Deep breath, deep release. So you can just move the feet in and foot in and out. It's gonna get deep in there. Hold it a few more breaths. On the right side, getting more towards the edge of the hip flexors, to the outer edge. So you feel that area on the outside almost. Just before you lose the ball, stay right there on the edge. That's an important point. Now move a little bit up and down, just sliding up and down a bit. All right, so we'll move to the other side. So we'll bring this one therapeutic ball or tennis ball. If you're at home, you can just use your tennis balls. They are pretty good. So now this time we're gonna have the left hip flexor right on the outside here. And then we're gonna put the other one on the right inner knee, right above the knee. As we slide the knee out to the side. So bring that right knee out and bring your ball on the inside there and lean forward. So this ball, it's almost on the outside, right on the edge, getting the lateral head of the quadriceps muscle and that hip flexor. You can start to lean outward and then inward a bit, just kind of explore a little bit. See what you get, different expression of the pose, different release, maybe deeper, maybe stronger. This side may be responding a little differently. Just continue to breathe, and you can either move, stop moving and be still now for a bit. Because when one area releases deeply, it's going to dissipate that intention of release all throughout the area. But you want to find a point that's somewhat comfortable, but it's not going to be super comfortable though. This is kind of uncomfortable in the moment, but afterwards you get a nice response of deep release and openness and relaxation, which we do need in those areas. My old students at the YMCA used to call this tenderizing the meat because it feels kind of intense. Or the mean balls. Oh, she brought the mean balls again. Because I used to have to bring them with me. They didn't have them at the Y. It was fun when they see me carrying that bag, like, uh-oh. We're in trouble today. All right, so let's release that and do something a little easier. So we're gonna come to a child pose for a little bit to center up the spine. If you want, you can have the arms out in front and put your arms right on your your tennis balls right under the forearms, and then drop your head down and just feel a gentle release through here. The outside of the arm needs to be released too, because we work so much with our hands and fingers, and we type and we grab things and we lift things. So there's a lot of tension in these muscles here on the outside and also on the inside. Those would be more related to the carpal tunnel on the inside of the arm, but also with the heart meridian. So maybe you spend a little time on the outside and a little bit on the inside of the lower arm. Or you can just choose to do the child's pose without any extra work. And we'll walk the hands to the right now, just opening into the left. Deepen the breath. Open this area on your left side. Just draw a line of energy from the hip crest to the rib cage, then up under the armpits, down through the arm to your little finger. Just feel that line of energy. And inhale, bring it back to center. And exhale, slightly stretch to the left now. Open that right side. Inhale, bring it back to center. And let's continue with the toe stretch. So bring your hands on the floor in front, curl the toes under, and stretch back to your heels. Put a little bit of weight on the toes, maybe lifting the knees a little bit. And feel your toes activating. Okay, and stay at a point where you feel comfortable. Maybe the knees stay on the floor, maybe they're lifted a bit. See where you can hold. Sending a lot of good energy on the toes. Yeah. Or maybe you just switch back and forth. If it's too much to be still, go back towards the heels to give a little break and then bring it back in. 2 more breaths. All right. Now we will squat back. We're going to bring it into a full squat if we can, with the heels together and maybe apart if you need to, and then drop the feet down if you can. So we're going to challenge the pose here, sitting in a yogi squat. And if you're able to move out a little bit and you drop the heels down, try that, or go side to side to feel if you can release more, maybe one heel to the floor and then the other, just explore a little bit. And stay with one on the floor for 2 or 3 breaths and then switch. Or if you find your way in the center, try both. And then start to lift the heart center. Getting the chest to lift is going to be the challenge. It's going to force your center of gravity to the back a little bit. And continue to breathe. This one can make you scream a little bit too, like, ah. Try and find your calm in the middle of this challenge. Breathing in through the nose, holding the breath, and breathing out. We're massaging the internal organs as we press our thighs to the quadriceps. And we're lifting the chest. 2 more breaths. Releasing a lot in the back meridians of the legs. So you're going to feel a lot of tension release in the hamstrings and gastrocnemius. Okay, we will continue with the saddle pose. So drop the knees to the floor and we'll open up the hips in a different way now. So knees out to the side as far as you can, and then feet further than the knees. And drop down into your elbows or hands. Just like you're on a saddle of a horse, allowing your hips to open up. Connect with your breath, make it long, slow, and deep. The holding here is the magic, so take a few more breaths. I know it gets challenging. Just breathe strong, release completely. As women, we hold a lot of emotions in this area of the body, so it may be very heavy for us to do this, but we do want to release that heaviness out of the body. We don't want to keep it in. This weighs us down. It makes us unavailable because suppressed emotions are just not good to keep. So breathe through it. All right, let's release that. And take a moment in the center to lay down in Shavasana to release this pose. Take a 2-minute Shavasana just to let the body rebound. And catch your breath. Allow the breath to be long all the way, traveling to the belly, below the navel. Hold a little bit, expand in this area. And exhale, squeezing the navel to the spine. All right, let's continue on. Come off of this one. That feels really good, right? And we will come forward with the legs out. So we'll keep the right leg down and left leg comes on top, like tying a shoelace here. It's called caterpillar pose. So we're going to inhale, bring the arms up, and then exhale, we lengthen forward and just let the body fold gently without forcing. Just let your spine release here and let the gravity take care of the rest. Just a gentle forward fold. Allow that spine and the nerves along the spine to release, relax, and let go of any tension. Notice the kinks at the low back, maybe some at the base of the neck or base of the skull. Just noticing what grabs your attention and go there with your mind and your breath's energy to change, to transmute those areas, to release the tension and embed some relaxation. Now, when you're here on this top leg, you can put some pressure on the inside of the ankle, about 2 fingertips above the ankle. Put some pressure there with your thumb. That's a very good point for acupressure for the spleen meridian. And you can do the other one, the one on bottom with the opposite hand. So apply some pressure there and breathe. Notice where are the areas that are intense right now. And release them with a breath. And see them relax and free of tension with your mind's eyes. Inhale and slide back up. We'll switch. Left leg on bottom, right on top. If your areas you're pressing on are tender, that means there's some imbalance in your spleen and liver meridian. So keep that pressing as you inhale. And as you exhale, you release the pressure. And then again, inhale, press. Exhale, release. Inhale and slowly release. And now we'll transition to right leg bent underneath and left leg crossing over like a shoelace. So we're gonna do this no matter which level you are. If the leg is straight out in front and it doesn't cross over, that's okay. You still wanna lean forward a little bit and see how much you get and stop at a point where you feel comfortable. Deepen the breath. Releasing from those hips. We carry a lot of things in our hips. A lot of junk in the trunk, like they say. We need to let go of some of it. Any negative emotions, any limited beliefs, any contractive attitudes or thoughts or ideas. Slowly and gently coming up. And we'll switch the sides. So bring the left knee under, right knee on top. And see how this side wants to cooperate. And just listen to your body and see which position, which pose you can be sitting in right now. Make it your own and be kind to yourself. Be observant and go within. This is the time to travel inside of you to these body parts that sustain our life. Our movement, our life. Two more breaths here. And go ahead and inhale, coming out of the pose. And now we'll lay on our side. I'm gonna do this pose in three different positions rather. So lay down and get your right arm under your head and the left arm on top. Create a frame over your head like that. Like it's a frame supporting your head on the right arm. Knees are slightly bent. You're on your left side that you are opening your heart center, the side of the heart, the pericardium, the wrapping around the heart that protects our heart. And then the bony rib cage that also protects all these precious internal organs on this side of the body. And breathe through that blockage or stagnation you may find, or restriction. It may be under the arm, the base of the rib cage, or at the top, or the hip crest itself may feel restrained. So take some time here to breathe into the side body. Hold the breath. So you want to count in breaths for 4, maybe pause for 4, and exhale for 6 to really have that time, that hold to expand, to release, to stretch and open the area. That long exhale to release. Breathe all the way into the armpits. Around the heart, the side and the front of the heart. Areas may be feeling like a gray, shady area in the body with less light, with less energy. But now you're infusing it with light, with energy, with vibration, and with our loving kindness and compassion. So now we will press into the left hand, lift off a little bit, and stretch the right arm out behind you at shoulder height, not above the head, but at shoulder level. So it's gonna be out like this behind you. And then chin towards the chest a little bit. Yeah. The bottom arm is underneath the body. Bottom arm. So Itzel, lift off on that top hand for me. You're doing another pose. Bring that arm back to the front, press into it, lift up, and slide this bottom arm underneath you in the back. Yeah, yeah. That was a good one too, though. And this one, you can keep it in the front for a bit, see how you get comfortable there. And when you feel like you're okay, you can bring it up and around the waist behind you. Rotate it, yeah, so bring it up, rotate behind, good. And now after you sit for a while, if you want more, bring that top leg to stomp behind the bottom leg. Lift the knee up to the sky. Stomp on the floor. So the knees up. You're stomping the foot like that. Yeah. Yep. Oh, no, now you got opening everywhere. It's gonna be almost, if it's too much, back off from one of the poses. Jane is doing great there. So if you want to do the top arm, Jane, you can rotate it and bring it behind the body at the waist. So left arm can go at the waist level like that. Right arm is sliding behind you. And you're laying on your right side. So again, right arm slides behind the body, left arm wraps around the waist in the back, and left leg can go down to the floor behind the right knee. So you're stomping that foot on the floor to open up through that whole left side. And take some breaths here. We are opening, expanding the chest from the right shoulder to the left shoulder. And then we're opening up the hips from the right hip to the left hip, and then the inner groin, the knee. So a lot is going on in this pose, but you may do it in little sections. And as you get comfortable in one, then you can do the second and then the third. It can be a little much sometimes. We are encountering blockages that are restraining us from enjoying energy in the body to the fullest. So, but we also want to be gentle and kind and open slowly and gradually. Don't even force the opening because that can also feel too harsh, too intense. So take a breath by breath, see how you are holding up. And if you lose the breath, you got to back off. When we lose the breath, we lose the practice and the benefits that come with it. So empty the lungs fully, fill them back up. Two more breaths here. And now we will move and do the other side. Bring the left hand back on the floor and press. Bring that knee back in. Now lift off and turn around so we can be on our left side now. Or whichever side you haven't done. So the right hand on the floor, slide the left arm behind you and drop the ear to the floor. Oh no, sorry, we didn't do the frame. Let's do the frame first. So frame your head in your arms, knees are bent, and rest on your left upper arm now. And create a frame around your whole head so you can open the right side of the body. So our focus is now in the upper body, from the rib cage up. The 3 lobes of the lungs, the armpit with the lymphatic flow, the bicep and triceps that need more energy, and they are getting more energy now. Deepen the breath and have a little pause at the top of the inhale. And then a gentle pause at the bottom of the exhale. Take those long breaths and hold the pause. Surrender to the breath. All right, let's release our right hand, bring it to the front, press into that hand, and slide your left arm behind you. Chin down towards the chest a little bit to kind of keep the neck relaxed. And then stay here for a bit, or if you feel okay, you can move on to the right arm, circling around the back. And after you feel adjusted to this, if you want a third stage, bring the right foot and stomp it behind the left knee.
All right, go ahead and release that back arm and extend the leg. And slowly coming up to transition to Shavasana, last pose. So here you can get your blanket or a bolster. See what feels good. Stay warm and comfortable. And if you want to try to bring the tennis ball, the back of the head, in that hard part of the head that would fall down on the pillow first. If you put a tennis ball there, you will put pressure on this acupressure point called Bai Hui, I think, or Eugen, I'm not sure now, sorry. And I will send a deep relaxation message to the whole nervous system. So try that if you'd like. And maybe you wrap in your blanket if you feel you need some warmth. And I will read you a poem to keep you inspired. One that I wrote around Easter this year. It's called Rise Up. Rise up, divine presence. Remember who you are. Divine presence embodied in human existence. So the Creator can have an experience of life through you. You came here to fall and to learn how to get up, to grow, to expand, to live, love, and evolve. The journey of life is our gift from our Creator. The way we live and love, it's our gift back to her. She has been generous, offering us free will. Let's be equally generous by proving her we are to be trusted. Love, care, protect, and support each other and life on Earth. Our dear planet needs each and everyone. Rise up and overcome. Fall 1,000 times and get up 1,000 more. That's how we learn. Being afraid of failure is being afraid of learning. Anyone who's afraid to fail is afraid of life itself. So therefore, rise up and overcome. That's what you came here for. Don't ever hesitate. Just rise up, smile, and there you are again. Recreated, reborn once more. Rise up, conquer life. It's the law of life. It's the law of the living. Allow the body to integrate all the benefits of all the postures and to receive all this great energy from the earth and from the sky. You are this presence between the earth and the sky. There's the human. Slowly and gently start to move fingers and toes. And take a stretch. Open the eyes. Roll your ankles. Roll your feet. Come on up to sit. We're going to bring some love towards ourselves. So we're going to create a heart. So start from the bottom and bring it up and in, and then again, create a heart around your heart. And then create a heart around your face. Start from the temples and meet at the chin. Just like you're sweeping your face into a heart shape. Just giving yourself some energy from your own hands. Good, and bring the hands to the chest now. Take a deep breath, exhale. Bowing to the light within ourselves and sharing that light with others. Namaste. All right, guys, have a good rest of the week and a good weekend. If you like to look at the flyer, feel free to get one, or I can send you a link of the festival. If you think you can make it, would be an awesome event. There's a lot more in it that you can find on the flyer. So if you follow the link, do you want to see? It's a beautiful local yoga festival, which we don't get very often, that kind of stuff in Missouri. So it's the first time that is happening.